Right meow.
Right meow. Right meow.
Right meow.
Right meow. So I was playing Firewall last night
Nice.
with Hack BMX, Delirium
Oh
Drew,
yeah.
and Creeper Betty.
It's lit.
Dude, they are fucking intense, and they are awesome, and I love them. And I just hid behind them and got win after win.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's the way to do it.
it's awesome. All right, let's get this cat rolling.
All right. We want to say what's up, Robert Sullivan, also known as Bobby Joe, Johnny Ripop the Stray Cat, meow,
Yeah.
Robbie B the English Game Cat, Vancity. Yes, the PS5 will improve the performance of PSVR games on the PS4
I
currently.
feel like we could talk about that.
Yeah, I think they will, and we will get around to that as well. Paper Wings, the Game Cat. Paper Wings, are you excited for Paper Beasts? I just really gotta, just please answer me. Gyson, fist bump to you. Life Progress, a community for introverts. T-minus 60 seconds. Damn right. Welcome. Get your introvert asses in here. Blah, blah, blah. Also for people that can't speak properly. Stay warm for 20. Hey, Hibsy, the Game Cat, Chief, the VR Gamer, Road Bean, hello, Marcus Orr, Clever Girl, Fireboard, Old School, that Game Cat in the chat, hello, Red Ranger, Wink Rogers, Duran Fan, Encore, Lep Jar, Decepticon,
That was you climaxed too fast, man. The intro's not over yet.
Oh, damn it, Cat.
Hey,
You're supposed to do that on cue.
you get real excited there, and it's just like then it just ended way too early. Everyone was disappointed.
Sorry, I let you guys down.
All right,
National Lambu, the National Game Cat, meow. There we go.
Now too little, too late.
No.
All right, let's get this show rolling, man. This is PSVR Gamescast Live, where we film live every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. You may notice that there is a distinct lack of a third person here. Dave is taking a little break, and he should be back next week.
Yes. Next week.
So it's going to be a little fireside chat here with me and AJ and all of the cats.
Oh, yeah.
Down there.
Come on, get close, snuggle up,
Down there in the chat.
get cozy.
Ew,
And also, feel better soon, Dave. We love you. We miss you. We love your opinions.
Also, don't put your fingernails close to the camera when they're that dirty, Brian.
Yeah.
Don't
Mine are clean.
Don't prove to people that you didn't shower today yet.
I shower and brush my teeth before every Gamescast.
You brush your teeth before every Gamescast?
Yeah.
Really?
And they're still yellow.
I'm drinking coffee before every Gamescast, and so I'm like, well, I don't want to disrupt the coffee flow, right? And then like brush my teeth and then start drinking coffee again. That just tastes weird. So I am unshowered and unbrushed, and I'm disgusting. Guys, real quick here, housekeeping notes. Make sure that you subscribe to AJ over at PSVR Underground. Why can't I point? What's going on here? Underground, and also, join our Discord, man. I keep forgetting to pimp the Discord, but the Discord is where it's at. We're going to be hosting a Spark tournament. Rypop's going to be taking care of that next month, sometime in February. And so make sure you're over there so that when that rolls around, you'll be there, you'll be part of it. It'll all be happening. It's going to be amazing. But this year as a whole, it sounds like it's going to be amazing. So Spark tournament or not.
And Spark is currently 50% off on the PlayStation Store, so you can pick it up for $9.99 if you want to join in the festivities.
Neato, $9.99.
Yep.
So they actually updated Spark with like the championship stuff, and it was a free update. Long after CCP was like, oh yeah, we're done with VR. They updated Spark, and we're like, oh, that's awesome. But I don't think I've actually ever played Spark since that huge update. So I don't even really know what's going on over there. Anyway, dude, we should probably get the ball rolling, because even though it's kind of a light news week, I feel like every single week we say that, and then like we talk for 14 hours.
Right. I mean, it's light on the quantity of news. We have 7 items total, but it's definitely some significant news to talk about, including the PS5, baby. So, of course, earlier this week, CES was held, and as we predicted, they didn't reveal the PlayStation 5. They did, however, reveal the logo, and shocker, it's just the same thing with the 5 after it. I really like that logo. I think that's a good idea. It's makes more sense than the PlayStation X series. That's not a jab at Xbox. Maybe it is.
It should be. Yeah.
Yeah, it basically was. But Jim Ryan was there, and he says it is important to give off a sense of consistency for products within the PlayStation brand. It is a must for anyone who sees the logo to immediately and positively think that is PlayStation.
Yeah, except I don't know, man. I guess maybe there's something about I'm gonna play the Let's Go Digital rendering down here. Let's Go Digital, man. I gotta say, like, I know this is off topic, but you gotta love Let's Go Digital, right? These are the guys making all the renders, the 3D renders of the DualShocks, of the PlayStation 5. Every time there's a new,
Okay.
every time there's a new patent or anything, it's like they create these amazing looking 3D renders and then make videos out of it, and then everyone thinks it's real.
Right.
but man, it's some good stuff. It gets me kind of excited for the future. It's like, oh, look at these sexy lines of these sexy new consoles. I can't wait to play these sexy beasts.
So really, though, I mean,
I hate the new
logo
logo.
aside.
No. Let's stay on the logo. I don't hate it. It's nothing.
Have
wrong.
you never liked the logo either? Just like you don't like the way they look.
So like the original PlayStation 1 logo, I was always like, oh, okay, you put a P and then like a kind of a 3D S, like kind of in the shadow, and I'm like, all right, that's okay. Like that, but and I actually think that the PlayStation logo itself, the actual P and the S, have improved over time, and because they got rid of the colors, and now like just basically on the black background in the white the white lettering, it actually looks really slick, and it's become iconic over the years.
I think so. Yeah,
But
I agree.
when you start doing I never really liked the PS2 logo, and then the PS.
I liked it, but I was ready to move on.
In the PS3, it started off and it was it looked like the
Spider-Man
Spider-Man logo. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I actually liked when they kind of softened it and made it like mid life cycle. They actually made it like kind of a softer logo, just a PS3, and had softer corners and everything, looking a lot like the PS5 logo we have now. And I like that, and I liked it for the PS4, but there's something about the number 5, the way they made it, where I was just like, it looks like a Photoshop job. It doesn't look quite as cool. Like, and I think if it didn't come down to sales figures and stuff like that, it would have been way cooler for them to use the Roman numeral 5. So it'd be PSV, but then they already had the PlayStation Vita, and with VR stuff, I know it'd get really confusing. So this is the only real way they could have done it. But I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't know. I'm not concerned about it or anything, but I looked at it and it's like, yeah, okay, that's the PlayStation 5 logo. That's exactly what it should be.
To be honest with you, the logo was like the last thing I wanted to bring this up about. Really, what they did mention was some of the PlayStation 5 hardware features, which I sent a picture over to you that everyone else can see as well. And it mentions the 3D audio sound, which us using headphones and stuff, usually that's kind of a given anyways. But that is an important feature with VR. When I talked about Aspire 1 recently, how the 3D audio is terrible and everything also always sounds close up to you. It really ruins like stealth, unlike the persistence, where you can pinpoint exactly where everything is in that situation. But then also the haptics and adaptive triggers. They keep mentioning this. They did mention a demo by Studio Japan where basically they were running in sand, water, dirt, and it was having some resistance to that. And then also I'm guessing like with guns and triggers and stuff, it'll have like some resistance there.
But will it have Fall of Man?
I am not sure. I hope so.
What kind of resistance will it have?
I totally hope so. But ultra high speed solid state drive. And this is interesting because I've always dealt with loading screens with PlayStation since day one. And I remember a lot of my friends being like, it's a loading screen, blah, blah, blah. And like, I really didn't care. I was like, I will let the screen load for 10 seconds to play a far superior game.
Yeah.
All day, every day. And now they keep saying that there's basically going to be no loading screens at all. Basically, I'm sure there'll be a little bit, but
yeah. So here's what I always hate about this. Every single generation, people go, "Oh, the hard drive speed is faster, or the Blu-ray reads faster, the DVD, whatever. It's a higher speed." The problem with that is that with every single generation, we're upping the resolution of textures, we're upping the display of your TV screen. So this upcoming generation is going to be all about 4K, and and everything. We're going to want everything to be running at 60 frames a second. So all the stuff that's going to have to like load in before the game world appears is exponentially increasing with every generation as the technology exponentially increases. And
right. So it's always just it always seems like it's just the same loading screen
Right.
time.
We're just on par every generation with the generation before, but with better results for that same loading screen. I know solid state is like exponentially better than what we've been working with.
Oh yeah.
But
It's also more reliable. It doesn't fail as much. Although I don't think you don't hear lots of people saying their PS4 hard drive fails a lot of the time.
I feel like I've heard that more ever since we started up the Discord server. People are talking about it a little bit. You get to hear from people who are having issues. I think I feel like we've heard it from a few people more this generation, but at the same time, I have no idea. Also,
Most of what I know is external hard drives.
I gotta say, yeah, I don't want to like speculate on that because that could totally be the case. I gotta say that with every generation, my PlayStation stays on longer than the generation before, and that's because it's, the the functionality of it increases every single generation. My my PlayStation 4 Pro has not been turned off since the day I got it. Like basically, right? Like I always need the TV on when I sleep, and so like it's running Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime like while I'm sleeping, and then when I get up, it's there it is, and like I'm checking to see who's playing what. I'm ready to play a game, doing whatever, capturing video. It is running nonstop, and so like if there are more issues this generation than the last generation, I think that's the reason. Just because people are using the console more.
Yeah. Alexander ! Says PSVR has some catching up to do. At the moment, it's trash compared to the competition.
That sounds like somebody who's never played PSVR. So thank you for your input.
Yes, but no, it's definitely not trash. Quest and stuff has had a good couple months, but we've got we've got pretty big things ahead and lots of stuff I'm looking forward to. And it's also, by the way, kicking its ass in terms of like the amount of sales it has by a couple million there, bud. So you may want to calm down a little bit. But Chairface says, I love that name, Chairface. Where's Chairface the Game Cat? Can we get that going?
Right.
Says, do you think the current PSVR will have PS5 only games? They have said so in this same interview.
Wait, what was the question? I want to be on topic here.
Will PS5 launch with PS5 only games? And I think maybe a few, but they have said, like he literally says, in this article is from Gamatsu, and it says he is quoted saying, there are over 100 million PlayStation 4 owners. There's a community there. You're damn right. That's a big community. And it says we have an obligation to keep them happy, interested, and absorbed in PlayStation.
Quick shout out. I know Dave's not here, so we don't have the sound effects. Quick shout out to Firebird Old School with the 100 Sekiros. We're going to go with Sekiros because
I love Sekiros.
Anything we can make video game related, we will. He says, first ale on me. Excellent.
Cheers, buddy.
We'll send that right off to Dave. It sounds like he could use an ale or two over there.
But yeah, so it probably will. So back to these features real quick. We are going to get more into the PlayStation 5 for sure, some speculating and stuff. Yeah. But this is not speculating right now. They have hardware-based ray tracing. What does that mean to you?
It means that ray tracing is like the new cool thing in video games, right? So for anyone who doesn't know, ray tracing
supposed to help it look more like photorealistic, right?
Yeah, so like lighting effects have been done the same for years, and now ray tracing is actually producing lighting effects more realistically in the way that actual light works in real life and how it bounces off different environments and different, the reflections and how it all works together. Now, ray tracing isn't just graphical though. The interesting thing about ray tracing is that it actually works with audio as well, and how different like sounds work in a 3D space and how they bounce off and reverberate and stuff. So ray tracing is this super hardware intensive process that is like, I mean, when this is the thing that like probably I believe least in this feature list, because even with super high end PCs right now, ray tracing will like slow games to a crawl. Because it's just so intensive. So it'll be interesting to see like how well this works out of the box.
Yeah, I will be interested to see that as well, and especially I don't know. They already made a big step up with doing like the Pro, the HDR support with 4K TVs, stuff like that. That was a big breakthrough. So I'm hoping this will be like that next step just for that graphical fidelity. I mean, to me, it's like some games can only look so much better. that's one cool thing about PSVR is like we have a long way to go before some of these games are huge and look amazing from like head to toe. So it's going to be fun growing with that in the process. Finally, the last feature is Ultra HD Blu-ray, which we, kind of already knew. I don't know if it played Ultra HD Blu-rays, but it does play Blu-rays, and those look damn good playing out of PlayStation. So,
Yeah, actually, the big complaint when PlayStation 4 Pro launched was that it didn't upgrade the Blu-ray driver at all. So you can't play Ultra HD Blu-rays on the PS4 Pro. That was like a big thing. It was like, oh, it's gonna output to 4K, but you're not gonna let us use 4K Blu-rays. It was weird. It was a weird choice, but I'm sure Sony was just trying to keep the price low at that point. So it'll be good to have that feature, even though I've pretty much sworn off Blu-rays at this point. I'm going all digital for movies at this point, from this point on.
Yeah. Matt Margenovich, what's up, dude, says ray tracing is the new gen. I'm blessed enough to have a PC that does it, and it is amazing looking. PS5 will have it, so that sounds pretty cool. I'm definitely looking forward to that in terms of just the next step in graphical fidelity. But probably one of the most significant things in this article, like literally the reason I brought it up, he talks about these features, and then he talks about and says, but there are still more unique elements for PlayStation 5 to come that separate it from previous consoles. And he says the bigger differences have yet to be announced. So we're expecting, the official announcement in February, sometime in February, middle to late, I think. So he's basically teasing that there are some features that we haven't even heard of yet that are going to really help it separate itself from PS4. And, he does say that it's going to be a tough transition. And I kind of agree. I don't think it's going to be as easy. They're going to really have to sell PS5s because of the success of PS4 with 100 million out there. I still think I'm hoping that, they sell a bunch. I think they will. I'm definitely going to be hopping on day one. But, I'm curious how much of success of PS4 is going to kind of take away from a little bit of the PS5, maybe create some later adopters for the console. But interested to see these new features that he's talking about.
Yeah, this cross-gen stuff is always really good. I think PlayStation 4 is going to keep Sony going for years because, man, there's just so much stuff. There's so much stuff on PlayStation 4. There's no way that everyone's been keeping up with all the AAA games that have come out. And so, and I know like people like Dez, before he jumped into Without Parole and started doing PSVR stuff, he was always a generation behind. So when PlayStation 5 launched, he would have been picking up PlayStation 4, right? To get it at the cheapest possible price, get all the games as cheap as possible. And I mean, like, if you don't care about staying on top of stuff, like and being part of like that conversation about the newest games all the time, then man, that is the best possible way to go, right? If you just want to save some money and play amazing games and you don't care about being cutting edge, unbelievable.
And it's even got PSVR support, so
exactly,
you'll be able to get a PSVR and a PS4 for like dirt cheap by the time that stuff comes out. So that's only going to expand the player base in that regard. But yeah, so looking forward to that, like I said. And Sony has also recently announced their 2019 most downloaded games from PSN. Now, do know that this, of course, is not representative of the physical sales as well. So, but just wanted to run down the list real quick because there are some updates on the some of these games as well that I would love to talk about. But number one selling game that from the PSN store, these are all VR games, of course, was Beat Saber. Obviously, we know that's had huge success. They said that a while ago that they sold over 1 million. And they, Jaroslav Beck, I follow him on Twitter and stuff. He also said that he is gearing up to create some new songs, some original songs for an OST. So anytime he makes something, it's usually a free update for the game and just adds more songs. So you can follow him on Twitter and stuff, and he is planning to do like some live streams, I guess, and get some feedback. He's been doing this for a while, but I think it's a really cool way to get people involved with what they're doing next. But I myself have been playing Beat Saber just earlier. My arms are freaking killing me. I've been obsessed with Ghost Notes with Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Oh, what a great combination that is.
Yeah, man, Beat Saber is when it launched and there was, I think 15 songs or something like that total. Uh, I could kind of see the case for people saying, "Oh, it's too expensive for what's being offered," and with all the DLC that's come out, all the paid DLC, I'm like, okay, I get it. It's if you don't like certain types of music, then this is really limited. Man, it's like now, all this time later with all the OST updates and all the free music that we've gotten, even if you don't buy any of the DLC, there's a ton of Beat Saber content. The game's hasn't gone on sale, and I feel like they're following the Trover Saves the Universe, financial model plan as far as like discounting games. I don't think we've ever seen Beat Saber go on sale. I could be wrong, but I think their model is perfect.
It's not going to go on sale when it's selling. I mean, first of all, it's worth $30.
Right.
I've been saying that to everybody because everyone's like, I even see posts on Reddit, and they're just like, I give up. It's not going on sale. I'm just going to get it. I'm like, you should have anyways. It's one of the few games that I would say buy at full price.
Well, right. And so they make instead of putting it on sale, they continually add value to it by adding more music to it for free. So that seems to be the best business model they could have possibly adopted. So
or you could be like Kaizen and say that Beat Saber is an unfinished demo game.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. You're not going to sell everybody on it. Rock Band was an unfinished demo too, so whatever. What are you going to say, man? I don't know.
Yeah, but so number 2 is Super.
Hot.
Super.
Hot. Without Dave here, this is getting very awkward.
Yeah, so Superhot's number 2, which they also said that they made a gross of I think it was like $2 million in 7 days over Christmas. So pretty good job for them. I'm wondering if I would like to see a Superhot 2 at some point. I'd like to see them expand on the game a little, and just flesh it out more.
Yeah, I know. I know I said this already, but I'd love to see Superhot non-VR ported to Superhot ported into VR, because that was such a good first-person shooter, and I think it adds a whole other dimension that when you're running around the level, that time is moving because you're moving. I think that would be really, really fun in VR rather than this whole you stand in one place and do your thing. They have plenty of options. They really can't go wrong. We just need, so when Microsoft bought Beat Games, right? No, who bought Beat Games? Not Microsoft didn't buy Beat Games.
Facebook.
Thank you. When Facebook bought Beat Games, I was like, okay, it's very possible that Beat Saber is a one-trick pony, right? That their next game is like whatever. Who knows what the fuck that could be? It's Lightning is probably not going to hit twice for them. It's very much like when Microsoft bought Mojang. That's what the comparison I was trying to make. I was like, okay, they made Minecraft, but everything else they've made has been like whatever, not of the same epic caliber. But I think with the Superhot guys, man, all they need to do is make another Superhot game, and they'll fucking kill it, right? We don't. Yeah. It's just money in the bank for them, and I think every single person would buy it on day one.
Yeah, agreed. Number 3 was The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim VR.
I've not heard of this one. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Well, I would say that it is possibly the most remade and remastered game, but then some guy on the list was like, hasn't this asshole ever heard of Doom? I was like, chill out, man. That's why I said possibly the most remade or remastered game. No, absolutely love Skyrim. Like I said, I've been trying to play it a little bit here and there. Actually, the Elder Scrolls Online has a global reveal event January 16th at 5 p.m. at twitch.com/Bethesda. No idea what it's going to be. I wish I could say I was hoping for some VR, but I don't think it's going to be VR. But I would love to see Elder Scrolls Online get some VR support, just for the sake of more RPGs, more MMOs, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. That sounds great.
Well deserved for Bethesda over there. It's a fantastic game, especially after the graphics patch. And it's a badass game, and comes with all the DLC, which much respect that came with all the DLC for it.
Yeah, anyone who's got any complaints about Skyrim, I'm like, it's so tough to actually listen to those complaints because what you're getting is just so epic, and it's just such a big game that, like, yeah, it's like, okay, the sword fighting is a little waggly, and whatever, this and that, blah 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 blah. It's just such an epic game, man, and like, it's been on sale so many times that you can get into this for pretty cheap, and it's officially the best possible way to play Skyrim ever. And if you haven't played it yet, like I hadn't, it's time.
I agree. What really sold me, even though I was kind of tired of Skyrim from playing it on PS3, what really sold me was now getting to use the Move controllers, because my friend had it on Switch, and I was like, using the bow and stuff with the hands. I'm like, that's like the one thing. So had to jump back in and try it again. Number 4 is Five Nights at Freddy's VR. Help wanted.
Yeah.
As you guys know, we love this game. It's a haunted Chuck E. Cheese, and obviously a lot of its success came from a bunch of stupid YouTubers screaming their head off and stuff, but it doesn't matter. That aside, I love the game for what it is, and it's a blast to play.
Wait a minute. I'm a stupid YouTuber, and I screamed my head off when I played this game.
I can't stand you guys.
Are you making fun of me?
No, I'm talking about the ones that...
Also, I hate being a YouTuber. This is I don't know how I got roped into this.
No, but just kidding, of course. But fantastic game, man. Love this game. Saved Halloween for me with the Curse of the Dreadbear update. Obviously, the younger demographic for this game, but I still found it to be terrifying and a lot of fun.
You can play it in non-VR now, man. So I'm curious to know how that's going to affect sales, because obviously, the younger demographic doesn't have PSVR headsets, or that's what we've been led to believe. So most of the PlayStation VR purchasers, especially for the first couple of years, were like 30 plus, man. Like that was our demographic for such a long time. It's expanded, but I don't think it's expanded enough to the point where, like, a lot of the kids that play Five Nights Flat would have access to one. I would say a majority of them don't, and so I'm curious to see if, like, this skyrockets the sales figures for Help Wanted because of the non-VR patch.
Roadbean says FNAF wasn't even on the European list. Yeah, this is the North America list. They are slightly different, although I got to give some credit to the European list. It was actually a kind of like a little bit more like, I'm like, yeah, this makes sense that they have a little bit better judgment in what games to support. Although nothing wrong with these, of course, but they had like Astrobot on there, and of course I'm like, yeah, like,
wait,
Europe loves their platformers, man, and I love Europe for that.
Wait, Astrobot's not on our list?
Astrobot is not on the PSVR
bullshit.
games. No, because it came with the bundle. It came with the bundle.
You don't think they'd count that? Oh, is this the most downloaded? Is that what this is?
This is the most downloaded from PSN. So this is a little bit different. That also has a physical release. So
I wasn't here when we started this segment. I wasn't paying attention.
Gotcha. Nick Mulo says one day maybe I'll play FNAF. I really would love more Game Cats to play FNAF and tell us what you guys think. Because would love to see if it's scary to you or not. Number 5 is Job Simulator, which we actually have to give a big shout out to Alchemy Labs, because Job Simulator recently posted today on Twitter that they have sold 1 million copies.
Okay.
So congrats to them for going platinum. They're going platinum, y'all. And really, really impressive. Love to see all these VR games starting to come around and say, we sold 1 million, we've grossed 1 million, this and that. This is what I've been waiting for a long time, is to us to get to this point to where some games are, having this kind of financial success. A lot of them are getting praise and love from the community, but we need these guys to get financial success as well.
Real quick shout out to Techno Gatsby, the Game Cat, in the chat with a $5 donation saying, enjoying the frequency of reviews, AJ and Brian. He's talking about you. I haven't done a review in like 2 weeks. Your interest and passion for doing them is really showing. Great for the community. Hashtag win back.
Did you say win back?
Yeah. We had over in the Discord, we had a quite.
I was going to say, wait, what? Because we were talking about win back recently.
I feel so Techno Gatsby's mission of 2020. his New Year's resolution is to change hashtag general into hashtag win back.
Win back.
Right. So over on the Discord, everything in general is going to be about win back. So it'll happen eventually.
Yeah. Kaizen says because physical Astrobot was only $9 at GameStop.
That'll do it.
It was sold out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Fantastic game. But yeah, so big shout out to Job Simulator, Alchemy Labs. Really love what they did with this and Vacation Simulator. I think Job Sim has had way more like marketing push behind it and publicity and stuff like that, with being on like Conan O'Brien and stuff like that. So it's got that mainstream appeal to it. So number 6.
Yeah, let's blast through the next 5. I don't think we want to make the whole show about this.
No. Number 6 is Creed Rise to Glory. I'm really happy to see this here because it's Servios, and it's like I want Servios to make money because they're like really, really respected by me.
By you,
and by me,
not the community as a whole, just you.
I know the community loves them too, but I want to see them having some kind of success, even if it is from my probably least favorite game of theirs.
Yeah, it's a little surprising, right?
Well, it's a boxing game in VR. Actually, it almost sold one of my friends too on a PSVR. So
it's got the Creed name, obviously, like anybody who's a fan of the series would be into that.
This is the only platform where like licensed games actually do better than, I don't know. Licensed games have always been like fails in the past, and with VR for some reason they do really well. So number 7 is Borderlands 2 VR, which was actually kind of surprising to me, and because not that it's not good or anything, but I was just kind of surprised to see it selling as well as it is, which is good.
I would say the fact that it doesn't have a physical release and it's such a big game, that's what put it on this list.
Okay, that would make sense.
Right, there's no alternative. If people want to buy it, they have to buy it digitally, so it's going to make this list.
Next is Firewall 0 Hour, which you were just talking about. Such a great game. The only game, besides occasionally Honor and Duty, that can hold a consistent player base. Multiplayer player base. So love to see more online shooters, military based stuff like that. We've got
I know I said let's fly through the rest of this list, but I do have to tell a little story. I know I told this, said that I was playing with Hack the MX Drew and Creeper Betty last night. But the best part was that the first team we went up against was like kicking our ass, like just like destroying us, and I wasn't on my game. I wasn't warmed up. I hadn't played Firewall in probably months, to be honest with you. And I looked at the list of the people on the other team, and I was like, okay, thank God I don't recognize any of these people's names, because they're probably just, if anybody recognized me, they're just laughing over there, being like, oh, fucking without Parole sucks, and I was actually saying that to those guys, to Hack, Betty, and Drew, saying, I'm so glad that I don't recognize any of the names from the other team.
Shout out to the cats.
And then I got a notification, and it was a message from the other team saying, hey, you're the Without Parole guy. It's like, I was like, oh, great. So nice. And so and I actually was like, yeah, you guys are way too good for us. And they were just coming off of a tournament. And so they were totally warmed up and like kicking ass and stuff. So it was a lot of fun, man. I gotta say, I had a lot of fun with Firewall last night. I was only there for an hour. My problem with Firewall is that usually I play for like 3 or 4 hours, so it always in my head requires such a huge block of time. But I dropped in for an hour. I had a blast, and I had to get back out.
One of my all-time favorite Firewall moments will probably be the time where the guy was like, "Wait, I know you. Are you PSVR Frank?" I was like, "No, I'm not PSVR Frank." Real quick, shout out to Jay Meow with the 99-cent donation. Jay, you got nothing to say for us, bud? You got nothing?
Yeah. If you want to complain about Telltale games, man, this is your chance to do it.
Yes, that was your chance.
Yep.
All right, so moving on. Yeah, we do want to blast through. There's only 2 left. Blood and Truth at number 9. One of my, probably, I would say, the best game of 2019, and a flagship PSVR title.
Sure, second to Immortal Legacy, of course.
No, I cannot put it before Immortal Legacy. I mean, after Immortal Legacy, sorry. But it's just, like I said, I grew up on GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, a a lot of James Bond games, even the shitty SNES James Bond Junior games. I used to really like.
What about James Pond? Did you play James Pond?
Oh my God, what was that? NES or Game Boy or something? What was
Genesis.
that?
I played it on Genesis, and I think Super Nintendo probably got a few of them too.
I think no, I didn't. I don't think I played that.
They weren't really good. I always wanted to play them when I was younger. I got them when I was older. And I was like, oh wow, yeah, no, they're bad.
Born to Kill Cars says, "Hi guys from Germany. What's up from Germany?
Hey, from the
Hello,
US.
welcome. Thank you for tuning in." So yeah, Blood and Truth, absolutely fantastic game. We know that Sony London Studios is working on another game, their next gen VR title. So excited to see what that may be. Also, another Sony London Studios, one of the best games to start VR with, PlayStation VR Worlds. I love Ocean Descent. I love London Heist. And I actually like Scavenger's Odyssey as well from these. And just the menu alone, I think, blew me away. I think I was like really impressed with the menu from this game. Pretty amazing.
There you go. That's what should sell people is a menu screen. I love it.
No, I did. Like I put people in that all the time. Yeah. And it's like stuff flying by. It's such a great display of what VR is capable of.
Yeah, Scavenger's Odyssey. That's what sold me on Worlds. I know, like everyone was like, London Heist is so amazing. And I was like, yeah, London Heist is great, man. But Scavenger's Odyssey, I was like, this feels like a full game that I'm inside of. Like this is going to be amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and that thing has been on sale for like $5 so many times.
Yeah,
right? Just pick it up.
$4.
It's kind of a demo disc, but it's the greatest demo disc ever.
Chairface says Scavengers is trash. We got Kilacell 7777 with the $10 donation. What's up, dude? Haven't seen you in a minute. Hope you've been well. Thank you for dropping back in. Hope everybody's had a great new year and everything. Good to see everybody making it back. So once again, Beat Saber, Superhot, Elder Scrolls Skyrim, Five Nights at Freddy's, Help Wanted, Job Simulator, Creed Rise to Glory, Borderlands 2 VR, Firewall 0 Hour, Blood and Truth, and God. PlayStation VR Worlds. Congrats to them. Tons of other great games as well. But those were the most downloaded. So moving on, we got a little bit of news about Iron Man. Of course, Iron Man is, it's a little over a month away.
Yeah.
For Iron Man. So we don't have too much longer to wait. We've been waiting for this game for a while, and there was an article on Games Radar that they recently published, and also Games Radar. What is up with the paywall? Just to read your website, that is some trash right
There's
there. Like,
so many gaming sites out there. Like we don't need your site.
Do that? Yeah.
Like, no, it's like, and like no offense to them. I'm sure they're a great site. I'm sure they have great articles. But like,
I've heard of them.
We will find your information somewhere else for free. I promise you.
Yes. But basically, they had talked with director Ryan Payton, and they just revealed a couple more details about the game. We still are waiting to see, like, we've gotten like a story trailer, but this game is really sounding like the real deal to me, which is making me more and more excited. From this article, they just talk about like some of the features that it's going to have, some of the things that they have spent literal years working on. One of the things in particular is the story. They have been trying to work on the story, telling the story between not just Iron Man, but Tony Stark, and having a compelling story written by him. Not written by him, but about him. They also said they spent like a year just trying to get like the immersion and like having the full arms to feel right and all that. I know that's like always hit or miss for you. And I kind of agree, but I'd rather, I like games with full, like being able to look down, see another body there, and just being like, whoa.
Yeah. It's hit or miss for me, but it's also not a deal breaker. I mean, like Immortal Legacy had the worst arms ever in any video game, any VR game, right? Your little T-Rex arms, and it's still, I still love that game. So no, it's cool as long as I'm sure this is going to be much different than that.
Yeah, real quick, Official Tedsy says, I love PSVR. I just hope PSVR 2 moves away from the light tracking and moves towards what PC does. The patents, going by the patents, PS5 is going to have a mix between inside out and outside in tracking. And that's going to be cameras in the devices that you're holding and stuff, cameras in the headset, HMD, and then also the camera thing. So it's going to be backwards compatible. So likely I would expect it to be both. But anyways, so the other thing about this game is it's going to have a garage that you can kind of go to. They talk about how important it is, the little things. And I cannot agree more that one thing I love about VR games is when you see something and you're like, oh, what is that over there? Can I go mess with it? And you can mess with it. Like that's what's got me excited for Shadow Legend VR, which comes out the 21st of this month. Not much longer to wait for that one. And so they've got like all these things that are going to be like little details and stuff you can mess with. And basically you have a garage where you'll have upgrades you can do. Obviously, we know there's going to be different suits that you can wear that come with the DLC. But yeah, a garage where you can do like upgrades. So there's going to be some kind of upgrade customization systems for the suit. And then there's also going to be stuff around your palace or pad or whatever that you can do and mess with. So pretty cool stuff there. I wish we had a little bit more info on this game. Like they're kind of quiet about it right now, but I don't know. You think that's a cause for concern or not?
Being quiet?
Yeah.
No, I wish they were quieter. I've said it 1,000 times. Like I love when games get announced. And I love when games get announced like 4 months out. Like Fallout 4 did it perfectly. They're like, "Hey,
Astrobot."
There you go. They're like, "Here's a game that you're definitely going to be interested in. Here's a little teaser. This game is definitely in development. It's coming soon." Radio silence. Like, just keep me in suspense. Don't show me anything. Put the game out 4 months later and be like, "This is the game you're hyped for." Like, I don't want to be spoiled by anything. Like, the stuff they're showing in these trailers looks amazing, and I've already seen too much. I want it all to be fresh. Going into this game, I don't want to know anything more about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have faith that this game will be good. So this is probably one that I don't need to see very much of. But yeah, I like most people, like TY Queen says, I don't like Iron Man, but I hope the game is good. I think this game is going to be fantastic. Everything I've heard about it, from the gameplay to just the features, and this is not a short experience Iron Man.
Right.
This is going to be a full length game, so should be pretty interesting. I've said it over and over, their inspiration for making this game, or that like making VR games in general, was Resident Evil 7. So that's some good inspiration to have.
Also, I just want to say, you brought up the whole garage thing, upgrade your abilities and everything. I hope it works a lot. Like I know we have like mixed reactions about Apex Construct as far as like a game, but as far as the upgrade system went, I think Apex Construct killed it. I loved going out and doing missions over and over. If I felt like I wasn't prepared for the next mission, coming back to your garage or whatever you want to call it, and upgrading certain skills, and then going back out and doing more stuff. And I feel like Iron Man is going to give us more reasons to go out and grind than Apex Construct ever did. I'm so excited for this, but like I said, I don't want to see anything else about it. I just want to have it in my hands. Also, we need to give a couple shout outs for tips here. Did we miss Kilocell 777?
Yes, we did, and he gave us a $5 donation and says, "Sorry, been busy working." No problem, man. We understand life gets in the way sometimes, but as Brian always says, our goal is to be here when you get back. And also Nihilist Ryan, the game feline, with the $5 donation, says, "Fingers crossed that Taurus VR is gonna rock. Looks great to me and gives me the PS2 Defender vibe." Yeah, it's just incredible. My dude, my inside PC source says that the gameplay is really good and that the game still needs a lot of work. It's not even going to leave early access until next summer. No, I'm sorry, this summer. So it's got a while to go, but I've been hearing good things about the gameplay itself.
Boy Brown asks if there will be physical copies for Iron Man. Yes, there are. I believe you can pre-order it right now on Amazon. Also, shout out to Miles Dyer, who's in the chat. I feel like I haven't seen him for a while. Good to see you back, buddy. Also, that list of 2020 games that you should expect to see on PSVR. Every minute that progresses in 2020, that list is getting more and more outdated. I guarantee you that list is about half of the titles that we're going to know about by the end of February. I bet by the end of February that list is going to be twice as big, because every developer I'm talking to is like, oh yeah, don't worry, that the game that didn't make your list is still coming this year. Oh, don't worry, a certain game that didn't make your list is coming in Q1 2020. Like, there are games right around the corner that we know about that don't have release dates. I am behind the scenes super crazy excited for some shit that is about to be announced. That's all I'm gonna say. But you should all be fucking real hyped.
Oh yes, along with the console itself. But okay, so moving on. Speaking of Apex Construct, because you mentioned them real quick, Andreas Juliusson, who is their marketing manager, tweeted today. Now this is just a tease, but he's from Fast Travel Games, as some of you may know. They're also working on Budget Cuts 2 with that developer over there. And so they've got a couple projects in the works right now. But he says, so we're working on a new VR game that I cannot talk about. But if I could talk about it, I would not talk. I would shout and scream and drool and make it all kinds of funny noises. Good thing I can't. So basically,
I bet we could find a way to make Andreas Juliusson make all sorts of funny noises. I bet if you hold him down, I'll do the rest.
And, he's known across the lands as the Bronze Gigolo. Did you hear that story?
What? I need to hear the story.
His Twitter is awesome.
Stop the podcast.
His Twitter is really cool. You need to follow him on Twitter, man, at Balzar Julius Song.
I obviously follow him on Twitter. I just don't actually look at my Twitter feed very often.
I don't want to embarrass him, but maybe I will. He says in 1998, there was a tweet that said, "Tell me a story about yourself." That sounds like a lie, but it's absolutely true.
Okay.
And he says in 1998, I won the bronze medal in a gigolo contest in Costa Brava called Mr. Bon Repos, from the name of the hotel I was staying at. He says, I had to attempt to seduce an elderly lady in front of a crowd by dancing sensually to the Swedish national anthem. And so that's Fast Travel's awesome, man. He's an awesome guy. And so from now on, whenever you guys hear Andreas Juliusson, make sure you say Andreas the Bronze Gigolo Juliusson.
Yeah, I mean, that guy just gets cooler the more I learn about him. That is a fantastic story. And strangely enough, I will say that doesn't surprise me even in the slightest.
No, I know. But anyways, they're teasing their new game. I spoke actually in an interview with for Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets, and he basically gave us a little teaser then and said they are working on something for PS5. So there's no known idea what the game is or whether it's going to be a launch title, but we do know, besides Budget Cuts 2 and just releasing Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets, that they are in fact working on their next gen game. So that's pretty cool. Carlonio, what's up, dude? Also, Luis Perez says, is it PSVR worth it in 2020? PSVR is around the corner. I think he means PS5. Yes.
Did I not just answer your question in a comment somewhere? I feel like I just answered this exact comment.
I don't know. But yes, Luis Perez, PSVR has never been more worth it than right now, because you can get it dirt cheap and it's going to be backwards compatible with the PS5. So yeah, you'll be able to use it with your PS5 all the way up until the launch of PSVR 2, which is way down the line. So
yeah, and I honestly, I don't expect I don't know, man. Like, I really feel like there's going to be so many people carrying their PSVR headsets over to PS5 that, like, even when PSVR 2 launches, man, I feel like there's going to be a lot of cross-compatibility there. So I don't think that even PSVR 2 looming on the distant horizon should even be a concern of yours. I would say grab a PSVR while it's really cheap, sirens on my end, and get all the deals on all the games that are happening over the course of the next year. Man, this is the best time to get a PSVR headset. I can understand a couple years ago when people are like, oh my god, it's $400 and it doesn't come with any games or Move controllers. But man, if you can get a bundle now, if you're patient, you can find a bundle for $250 with the headset, with Move controllers, right, which are like missing in half the world. It's better if you get a bundle. And it usually comes with a few games. So, like, I mean, it is the best deal going, hands down.
Also, got to give a quick shout out to David with Stanley. He was listening to our podcast, our GAMESCAST last one, and I had mentioned that I had an Xbox one time in my life, and I had it for an Xbox One S that I got for $100, for a month, and I enjoyed a couple games on it, but then I sold it for a Pro. And he says, I sold my Xbox and got a full VR this Tuesday. Can't explain how good it is, and I'm the best dad ever. Yes, you are. He's been saying like him and his son have been having a blast with it. So welcome to the family, my dude. And that's really awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. That's really cool.
I thought he was going to say, I fell into a coma at the start of your last podcast. And when I came out of the coma,
you were still talking.
The GAMESCAST was still going on.
Ooh, that was rough, man. We gotta not do.
Yeah, four and a half hours. I mean, I love you and Dave, but by the end of that GAMESCAST, I did not love you and Dave.
No, I couldn't feel my hands at one point. But yeah, so excited to see what Fast Travel comes up with next. And so we have another game that has an update, Separation by Recluse Industries. We've talked about this a little bit. It's like an isolated kind of exploration game. And yeah, essentially they have updated the release date to somewhere around mid-February is when we can expect it. And he says working on pre-release patch now, some visual improvements and minor bug fixes arriving mid-February. Please help spread the word.
We had said last week, I think, that he had discovered a bug in his game, and that it actually took him he had to play the first 40 minutes or something, or the first hour of the game every single time he needed to test this bug, and so we kind of knew this news was on the way, that it wasn't going to make its mid-January release date. So it's fine, man. This game, it's a one-person development team. Keep your expectations in check. Hopefully, it's priced accordingly. This looks like it's going to be totally my jam, just because it looks so depressing and peaceful and quiet, and just like one of these things that I feel like you're going to play it once and it's going to stick with you for a while. But I haven't played it. I'm just assuming from everything we've seen.
To your point, sometimes when you are depressed, because a lot of people get depressed all the time, playing something or watching something that's sad actually makes you feel better.
I like to wallow in misery.
Yeah, I don't know. It's especially in times in my past where I've been through ruts of depression and stuff. I've watched something really sad and beautiful, or found something beautiful about it. I don't know. It has helped me feel better. So, going to be an interesting one to play for sure. There's a little backstory behind the narrative of this game too, which will be interesting. I'm interested to explore that a little bit. So, all right. So moving on, Disaster Report 4, which I don't know a lot about. You apparently know more than I expected. But this has gotten a release date of April 7th. And from what you told me, it completely killed any hype I had for this game.
Okay. So, I mean, you guys probably know Disaster Report. The series started on PlayStation 2. It was very much a Resident Evil style, but not survival horror, like environmental horror, I would call it, because there's earthquakes happening and floods and all this shit, and you got to solve some puzzles and do your thing. It was always kind of like this low budget thing, but always really good. So this obviously the fourth one. I played the Japanese version. I want to say I beat it, but I got pretty far in if I didn't beat it. Everything you're seeing in this trailer is very indicative of the game, but indicative of the game on a flat screen. So it is a non-VR game for about 95% of the time you're playing it. And so every time you complete a section of the game or two sections of the game, a little notification will pop up that says you unlocked a VR moment or VR experience or VR level, whatever you want to call it. And so you dive into that, and it's like a 5 to 10 minute area where you're playing in first person. Obviously the graphics have been severely, everything. Now, I don't want to say that it looks bad, because I think it looks good. But the entire time you're playing this game in non-VR, there's just streets teeming with people, right? There's people everywhere. There's buildings crashing down. There's all sorts of crazy shit going on. And then you go into the VR mode, and it's suddenly really quiet, right? There's nobody anywhere, right? And unless your mission is to go get this person from a building that's about to collapse. And there's no full locomotion, because it's almost Blood and Truth style in terms of I'm going to go there, and you select it, and you just wait for your character to slowly walk there. And then you're like, I want to go back, so you hit a button and you walk back. Okay, now I want to go down this street, hit a button, you walk down that street. It's very limited in terms of what you can do. And so I think it's a nice addition for people who are interested in playing the flat version, but you can't play the VR stuff without playing the flat version. So it's what I've played is it's a good game, but it's certainly not worth it if you're just in for the VR stuff.
Which I am. So, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you for filling us in on that. But something a little bit more exciting. Firesprite Games recently has had some job openings. And, of course, these are the makers of one of our favorite games. Personally, what I think is one of the best PSVR games, and I will never stop saying that. That is The Persistence, the definitive stealth VR game for PlayStation and just VR in general. It's probably the best stealth game, period. But essentially, they had an image in an article. Actually, real quick, shout out to KillerCell 7777. It says with the $10 donation, thank you so much, man. It says got to go back to work. You guys take care. You as well. Good to see you, man. Happy New Year. Welcome back, brother. I love how the whole chat's talking about pizza. Love you guys so much.
I mean, they have their priorities in the right place. We'll say that.
They do.
So.
Well, somebody asked Domino's or Pizza Hut, and I was like, Pizza Hut, stuffed crust, pepperoni.
Yo, I had a DiGiorno pan pizza the other day. I was at Walmart and it was like $7, and I was like, I mean, this is cheaper than delivery, and it looked really good. It looked like a deep dish. Oh man, it looked really good. Not enjoyable. Like the first couple bites, I was like, this is good, and then I was like, I don't want more than a couple bites of this. I still ate the whole thing because it's pizza.
Right. No pizza left behind.
Right.
But anyways, Firesprite had this image that they posted. Actually, I don't think even they posted it. They were featured in an article about just what goes on a little bit behind the scenes there. Brian, Firesprite has gotten bigger. There are over 100 employees and apparently working on like up to 6 different IPs, something like that.
They're insane.
And in this photo,
okay,
they actually...
There it is.
Yeah. Go ahead, bring that up. In this photo, they've got all the screens blurred out. But PlayStation VR News, which I follow on Twitter, he says, he was like, damn you, Firesprite, and your blurred out monitors. I want to know what you're working on. And Firesprite was teasing them with like redacted, all this stuff. And this one dude that follows me, one of my followers on Twitter, Hair Zorro Taylor, says God of War Collector's Edition Guide. And it's that little brown book that's sitting on the table there. And Firesprite responded and said, ha, that's some good sleuthing. We love it. We love it. And he's got a gif of like Jordan Peele, like sweating profusely. So do you think it's possible? What was that thing that you said? You said that you saw a message from Firesprite as well.
I just made it cover the entire screen on accident because I hate OBS. But I'm shrinking it down so you guys can see the job listing that they had and exactly what it says here. Let's give this a normal size. There it is. So it says we are seeking an experienced graphic designer to work on a huge globally recognized IP. Blah blah blah. And so, I mean, you're taking a company like Firesprite who has so far worked on a game that no one ever heard of until it came out on PSVR, Persistence, and then suddenly they're working on a huge globally recognized IP. Also, they've got that God of War book there. I mean, like, is there a huge globally more recognized IP in the Sony pantheon than God of War?
Not really. Not many, if any.
If any. And so the question is they obviously are proficient VR developers. They are proficient video game developers. The question is this going to be a PSVR game? Is this going to be a PlayStation 5 game? Is it going to be a PlayStation 4 game? Like, there are so many questions. Is it actually a God of War game? Why wouldn't it be? What's that book doing there otherwise? I'm sure some dude is just like, I love God of War, just reading in his spare time.
It's very possible. I saw the picture blurred out with a little person on there, and he had an orange hand.
I think they like to be called midgets.
Orange. And He's got an orange hand, and I was like, wait, could that be the Blades of Chaos in his hand? But for everyone trying to donate, by the way, what's up, Joe? There is a little $sign button, and you go down there and you go to Super Chat. You put the amount you want, and then you just type a message, and we will read your message. If you type it afterward, we'll read it as well. Nobody's obligated to donate, but that really means a lot. That keeps this channel running. So we thank you guys so much for everyone trying to support us and just doing what we love to do and spreading the good word. But yeah, if you look at the picture, there's like some characters, some background and stuff. But yeah,
it's all rumors and speculation.
All rumors and speculation. Can't tell what it is. It almost looks like a another ship, like the Persistence in that background picture. It looks like a spaceship almost in there. And God, I would kill for a Persistence too. That seriously one of my favorite games of all time. So amazing.
I would be surprised if they are working on that many titles at once. I'd be surprised if the Persistence 2 wasn't one of them. But I can't imagine that's their focus, right?
I don't know how you'd one up it really. That'd be a hard game to one up. But if anybody could, I feel like they would.
I mean, I'm sure they'd be interested in exploring motion controllers. I know a lot of people were like, oh, I wish I could play. I really want to play this, but I'd rather play it with move controllers. And like honestly, only having 4 floors in the Persistence felt a little bit limiting. It was $30 when it came out, and I spent so many hours with that game that I got my money's worth for sure. But
yeah, Nick Mulo and I both have like 40 hours.
Nice, but I can certainly see how they could improve things. How it's a great game. I love my roguelites, and the Persistence is one of my favorites. So, yeah,
man, yeah. Miles Dyer says the Persistence 2 with move controllers. I never thought it needed move controllers, but that's always something I want. So that actually, and that's a conversation we're about to get into actually. So that actually wraps it up for all the news. Can't wait to see what some of these developers are working on. But Brian,
yes,
we had a game that we had access to, and it comes out next week. The first game of 2020, you guys.
What about Love Loop?
No. God, no.
Okay. I actually downloaded that and didn't have time to play it. I was gonna play it right before GAMESCAST, and I just didn't have the time or the desire.
There is a free app from like some K-pop experience.
It's like K-pop boy band or something. I was like, yeah. There's a lot about this. It does not interest me.
Mr. Sonic promised me he'd test it out and tell me how it is. So
we'll get on that, man.
ASAP, Sonic.
We'll be here for the next 3.5 hours. Just let us know how it goes.
Fast. Boy Brown says I can't see how people think Golem is better than the Persistence. Kind of a good point. That's a hard one to decide, though.
I mean, they're so different.
They really are. We run into that problem a lot.
Yeah. Which game is better? I wish Golem played more like the Persistence. I'll say that. I wish Golem was more of a roguelite. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
that's.
I think the next top 20 debate is going to be very interesting because Golem at that point, recency bias will have faded, and I think we'll be able to look at it in a much more fair light.
I'm getting Blood and Truth back in the top 5. I'm gonna fight for Blood and Truth to be back in the top. Sure.
Yeah, no, I mean I'll give that to you, but you're giving me Resident Evil for number 1.
One of these days.
We're already making deals with Dave.
You're gonna have to wait until everybody beats Astrobot, and once everybody beats Astrobot and needs a break from it, that's when you will be able to win the Resident Evil argument. But until that happens, man, you got a little time to wait.
I'm gonna win the Resident Evil argument when everyone gets their fucking heads out of their asses. That's when I'm gonna win that argument. And actually, I don't know if everybody knows this, but it sounds like there was a miscount when it came to voting. It sounds like Astrobot and Resident Evil were actually tied for first place. I gave it to the cats. I gave it to you guys because
things went according to plan.
Yeah, right. It's strange how many Russian voters we got. Like out of nowhere, like a bunch of like Russian game cats showed up and just fucking started voting. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I think this is how our president got elected. Same fucking shit, man. All right. We both
What's
played.
up, Darth Vapor says you. Real quick, by the way, guys, the Persistence is, I think, still on sale, right? I think it's $15.
If
You
only
guys
there was some
have
way to
buy
check.
that game. Yes, I think Persistence is on
I'm checking
sale right now. If you haven't picked that game up, look, there's a couple scary parts, but it's mostly an action game. So it'll make you flinch a lot, but but it's really awesome. If you need some tips, hit me up. Greg User 2099.
Yeah,
Hi.
$15. It is still on sale, and it is on sale until the 17th. So make sure you get it.
Pick up that game at some point. Amazing, amazing game.
Yeah, $15, man. It was already worth it at 30, but for 15, it's amazing. Go pick it up. It is, and I'm going to give a different stance than AJ did. I think I was petrified when I was playing at least the first floor, and then I think there were definitely some great moments on 4, 2, 3, and 4. But yeah, it was. I've heard it's so funny that Persistence. Some people said it's scarier than Resident Evil 7, which I'm like, I don't agree with. I think Resident Evil 7 is the scariest thing I've ever played. And but and then some people say it's not scary at all. I want to say Jay Dow said the Persistence isn't scary at all. Is that him?
I don't know. The end of Deck 1 is freaking terrifying.
Yeah.
And we've got our dude Joe Grover finally got the super chat going. Thank you so much, man. Like we said, you never have to donate. It just helps us, keeps the channel running. So you are doing your part in keeping this channel going. And he says many good games due to the reviews. Thanks, guys. You're very welcome.
Thank you, Joe.
It is our pleasure.
Really appreciate that, man.
Dave Station in the chat. What's up, Dave? Says Tree Guy Intensify. All right. So yes,
let's talk about
that
game.
Let's get on to
the first PlayStation VR game of 2020, not counting Love Loop, and that is Eclipse: Edge of Light, and this is by White Elk. White Elk LLC, White Elk Games. What would you call this game? What would you classify it as?
Well, first of all, let me just say White Elk is former members of Sony Santa Monica that helped develop God of War 1 through 3, I think it was. So this is an experienced group of developers, but I would say Eclipse: Edge of Light is a first-person sci-fi adventure.
Also, the fact that these guys are from the old God of War team, I will tell you, makes no difference at all. Because I was playing through and I was like, there is no. I mean, man, I really.
There's a little bit of the art design that it vibed some like when they showed like some of the characters in this, like the ghosts of the characters.
Yeah.
They have like really pointy cheeks and stuff, and like the way they look, like sharp chins and pointy cheekbones. That reminded me of God of War for some reason. I don't know, little tiny things.
Yeah, I always appreciate when they, when they try to like give the team credibility by saying, "Hey, these are experienced developers and they're from these teams." But then you play the game and you're like, "Oh, okay, I would not have known that from playing this." It's okay. So here, let's run down to the facts.
Real quick. Let me give a quick shout out to my dude, to Ranfan VR, the Game Cat. With the $2 donations, as PSA, don't waste your money on The Grudge. It's trash. I did see a trailer for Underwater, which I actually kind of want to see now.
Oh, I wanted to watch The Grudge. That's too bad.
Also, Beard of Power 666 with the £1 donation. Nothing to say, but if you say something, Beard of Power, we will talk about it. Please continue.
Also, who just sent me pictures of their dog? Anybody? Anybody out there send me 3 pictures of their dog? And that's not a euphemism. An actual puppy dog. I don't know who this is. Like it's not a number that's in my phone, but they sent me 3 pictures of their dog.
Brian? Who's a good dog? All right.
Yeah. So okay, 2-hour experience, right? 2-hour.
It's a game, but it comes off as a little bit more as an experience because of how easy it is.
You're right. It is a game, and I would say it focuses a lot on puzzles. Although the puzzles are never difficult.
No.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I didn't even care about the puzzles. What I really enjoyed in this game is the platforming. You have this jetpack, and every time you boost, it's like really. Usually, when I have like a jetpack, like a No Man's Sky or something, I love like the intensity of it. Like an Iron Man, when I'm looking forward to wearing the suit, I can't wait to go like really fast. This does the opposite and gives you like a really like floaty jetpack, and it also doesn't let you fall. It like floats slowly back down. When you combine that with these platforms that are really high up, it gives you time to like soak in the view. And I usually wouldn't like this, but I think because of all that combination of that is what I really liked about it. The platforming.
Yeah, no, I thought the platforming was really well done. You guys know me that I love jetpacks. I've been begging Impulse Gear for, well, ever since Farpoint came out to bring us jetpacks, either as DLC or in a sequel. Jetpacks are the coolest thing in VR ever. No Man's Sky, I think, would be half the game without the jetpack. So I love jetpacks, and that is probably the reason I enjoyed Eclipse Edge of Light so much. The downside of this, on the surface, it feels like there's a lot to do, right? The game is like, okay, run around, use your jetpack, scan items, and it scans items similarly to Farpoint, where you hold the button down and you have to like actually use your head for head tracking to kind of scan the entire thing, and then something pops up, a little like story bit, and you learn a little bit more about what happened to this civilization, and it all kind of works. But at the same time, it's all very disappointing, or it was very disappointing to me. It's telling the story, and it doesn't really go anywhere. I don't feel like there was like ever a twist that I cared about, ever like any big plot moments where I was like, okay, this is interesting.
It tells you more of the background of what happened. It doesn't really do a whole lot about the story. It does. I mean, I don't know. That's the thing, though, is the only way to really tell what's going on in this game is to take your time, explore, and scan stuff, and it tells you more of the lore and stuff of what's going on. Right. I kind of feel like I knew what was going on, and I don't know, maybe perhaps you missed some stuff. I don't know how thorough you were with it.
I think I scanned every single item in the entire game. I collected every single thing I was able to. I read everything.
I feel like I missed one or two, but still got like the gist of it.
I was just unimpressed. Texatron, the indoor cat, with a $2 donation, he writes, from Texatron, with an unbelievable $2,000 donation. I feel like there's mixed messaging there, but I like where your head's at, Texatron. Good stuff.
Thank you, Texab.
Thank you.
But yeah, there's no incentives for doing the extra explorations, scanning stuff. It's all kind of optional. I kind of just did the exploring and stuff like that because I wanted to. And that was about it. So, but I got to tell you, man, I mean, overall, even though this is not really my type of experience that I like, typically, I do like sci-fi adventures. And I think PSVR and VR in general needs more adventures to go on, because that's like, that's like something you just perfect match for VR. I wouldn't say I liked it as much as Solus Project, because Solus Project is like one of my favorite games of all time, and was just like really intense, really felt like scared, and like there was like survival, like I felt like I was going to die constantly. There was a crazy twist with like the story, and just really intense stuff. I did, however, like this more than Eden Tomorrow, because this was actually a Google Daydream game, and that's kind of part of the problems with it, but they did touch it up enough to where it looks a little bit better. It's a little bit shinier, a little bit more polished. But I did like it more than Eden Tomorrow because I don't know. It just was more of a fun and like serene adventure to me. It was so relaxing. Like I actually want to play this again, to be honest with you. I jumped back in for a little bit and replayed, like, there's like these mushrooms you can get next to, and they emit this like gas. And whenever you're like flying next to them, you have infinite jetpack. So you can there's like this whole cave sequence with those mushrooms everywhere. And I was just like floating around this giant cave, like with 100 feet down looking. And man, it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, they give you a ton of stuff to do. Besides the jetpack, you've got this kind of power orb ball thing, and it's all DualShock 4. There's no move support, which is a little strange.
It's an artifact is what it's called, just an artifact.
So you can throw this thing, and it's strange that you don't have move support, because you would think you're going to be using the move to kind of throw it. But I would say that DualShock 4 actually works perfectly with this. It's just done with like a little flick. I feel like I always hit my target. I was even experimenting from like what seemed like a mile away, and with just a couple tries, I could actually hit my target. There's definitely some aim assist going on here, and it's fun because it seems like you're doing this collectible thing. You're trying to find all these collectibles throughout the world. You're throwing this artifact, the orb, at all these destructible items. And I was like, oh, I'm doing something. It's not rewarding. Like at a certain point, you realize you're doing this for kind of nothing. And then on top of that, there are like hidden objects in the game, and you can bring up like this frame where like you can look around the environment and look for hidden items. But you can only do that when there's a hidden item to be found. You can only use your telekinesis power when there's an object that is susceptible to telekinesis. So it's all of these like very like power specific areas that allow you to use specific powers. And so it's a super linear game. It initially seems like there's a lot of exploration, but there's not actually a lot of exploration. But you're right, it is serene. The soundtrack is amazing, and so
really good.
When you're just kind of like playing through it, you're just like just enjoying the music, enjoying the sights and sounds, and just casually destroying artifacts as you go.
Right.
The problem is, as you said, Solus Project. What did Solus Project launch out like $20? This is a $15 game. $15 game for 2 hours with no replayability and like not a whole lot of content.
And Solus Project is a 15-hour story that you can follow, just the story alone, and then there's an entire world to explore. So, I get it. They touched it up a little bit and stuff, but yeah, it's it's a little pricey.
Dave is right. He says every game is better than Eden Tomorrow. So I agree with him. That's not really a high benchmark to set. So yeah, it's anyway. So the point is, right? The point is this is great if you can pick it up for like $6 or $7 on sale. I'm going to say if there are too
or if
many.
you just got the extra cash and you really want like a adventure. I think it's not a bad game. Like it's enjoyable. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, if money's no object, then stop watching all of our reviews altogether because you're just going to buy whatever you want anyway, right?
Right.
If money is an object, then definitely consult reviews and see what's worth your money. This, unfortunately, this was $10 on every other VR platform, and so $15 is the PlayStation VR tax is real on this one. I like what they did. I just feel like they're asking way too much for it. Charge $6.99, man, you've got yourself a fucking winner. I love Marvel's Ty Queen.
Ty Queen also says how many hours a day? 4 to 6. I think I want to say around the same.
Yeah,
like 4 to 6, but every single day. And then when I'm not, I'm editing videos or something.
The problem,
or talking to you about more games.
Yeah. Oh God, the 2-hour daily conversations with AJ.
Brian and I talk for about 2 hours a day about PlayStation VR,
and then
we play for about 4 to 6 hours, and then I edit for about 3 or 4 hours a day. So it's like, yeah, I mean, when you add it all together, it's a lot more. But when I had the opportunity, I played Prada for 18 hours straight. I played Firewall for 18 hours straight.
Yeah.
And this was for like months.
Usually when there's when we're not in high gear at all right now. Like this is the slowest time of the year for PlayStation anything. PlayStation Vita, PlayStation 4, PlayStation VR. For 3 weeks, the store basically shut down and said, hey, no new releases. This happens every single year. So, but man, when we kick it back into high gear, we're going to be reviewing 3 games at a time, right? And trying to meet those embargo deadlines where you're trying to be one of the first reviews out there. And so, which means that very frequently you'll have to be sitting there playing a full game from start to finish, 15 hours straight, because you just don't have the time to not do that. Real quick, David Winstanley with a 2 quid donation says Forced Exploration Blue. Forced Exploration Blue. What the fuck does that mean?
I think it means like being forced to explore, like not freedom to explore, but like a.
It's got a little sad face there.
I know. I'm sorry.
Also, this is my new mantra. Anytime I get frustrated, I'm gonna say forced exploration.
I would say for me personally, because I'm such a sci-fi junkie, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are as well. It's like a 2 for me. It's like if you have nothing else to play, and you love sci-fi, you love adventure, I think it's pretty cool. It's a good experience. It is only 2 hours long, like we said, so maybe possibly able to replay it. Like I said, I want to replay it. But it's a pretty high 2 for me because. This is I'm trying to think if there's another mobile game that even comes close to this after being ported. I've had so many mobile games that I've played that have been ported over to PSVR, and I'm like, oh, this looks like a mobile game. This doesn't really look like a mobile game for this part.
It has a good look to it.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. It feels pretty good. Like I said, my biggest complaint is that it's just kind of short and too easy. But other than that, I really liked it. I thought it was really relaxing to play, actually.
Yeah, I want to double down on it being too easy. There are certain puzzles where you're just like, oh, there's a thing I can move and there's a button.
Just move it over.
Yeah, like obviously
puzzle solved.
Put the thing on the button. Done. Move on. But yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed not having to think too hard. This is, for me, it reminded me a lot of Zing. Not because of anything.
I've been getting that comment a lot too.
Yeah, it's because it's just like a relaxing, and you're just kind of like going through it. You're enjoying the environment. You're enjoying the peacefulness, except it's like Zing for people who don't like puzzles, because it is literally
Zing melted my brain
so many times, right? Like on that clock puzzle, I had to watch your walkthrough on the clock puzzle because I was like, this is too much for me. My brain can't handle this. And so
the colors one got me, man. The color one, I was like, I almost had a meltdown when I got to the colors one in the rainforest.
Yeah, we were getting into witness territory there.
But yeah. But I still enjoyable game, and $15 isn't too bad, but it's hard when you have other games to compare to. Like if this was at launch and it was $15, this would be like a steal of the decade. But 3 years later and you've got Astrobot for $9.99.
Yeah.
It's like kind of hard to argue the price point, but in all, I don't think it's a bad price point. Depends on how you look at it, really.
Yeah. It is how you look at it, and I think with it just sucks, man. It's like I want it would be really nice to be able to for everyone to say, oh yeah, no, I played that game Eclipse. It was really good, and to be able to say, oh, here's everything I appreciated about it. It was really well done. But there's just so much competition and like 200 things I would recommend before you buy this for the same price point that it's tough. It's tough at this point.
Closing thoughts on this is that if this was built from the ground up with PlayStation hardware, it would be pretty amazing. It would look amazing. Like it would look better. It'd probably play a little bit better, probably have move support. And I did talk to them and they said they will consider tinkering around with move support. They said they're working on some other things right now on some other platforms. But they said they would like to come back and possibly add move support if they can.
Nice. I think you have to read this tip because you're the only one who's allowed to say his name.
You got cold yogurt with the $1.99 donation. Says I platinum Zing the Land Beyond. Good job, my dude.
You're a better man than me.
So good. Now I still have that one level left. I've been wanting to stream that last level too, which I'm probably going to at some point. Chris says, anyone else watching this with supper on their TV? What's for supper, Chris? What did you make us? I hope you brought rest for the cats. Also, what's up, Polish Paul? He says, I liked Eclipse. Did you speak about Space Ribbon yet?
This is why we don't read comments from Polish Paul.
No. I don't know about Space Ribbon unless that's that. Is Space Ribbon that racing game you were playing, Paul? There was some new racing game that he was showing off or something at some point.
I don't know. I can only pretend to like Polish Paul for so long. I'm kidding. Obviously, but Space Ribbon does look pretty good.
Also, everybody, I would like everybody to congratulate Polish Paul on his baby that he's having.
What?
Due this summer.
Somebody procreated with Polish Paul?
There's going to be a baby Polish Paul running around. So congrats to you, my man.
Another baby Polish Paul?
Yes, I know.
There's the original and the little one.
But good luck with that, man, and congratulations, my dude.
Like good luck with that, man.
I don't know. I'm not good at these kind of things.
No, me neither.
All right, so before we sign off for the night, we have
we even close to that. We haven't even gotten to the topic, the thumbnail topic.
Yeah, I know, but that's where we're at now.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad we're there. Because I can only do this for so long.
Why don't you kick this off?
So, crap. You never. Hold on a second. I need to get the right. video playing down here. There we go. We're going to bring that. There it is. I'm going to get that. Okay. Clear my throat. Okay. Posture. Good. All right. So here's the thing. Right. When PlayStation VR launched 3 years ago, like mid-generation, PlayStation 4, like there was like 20 games at launch. It was kind of insane, right? It was like, hey, here's all these new games, and a bunch of them we'd never heard of before. It was, here's your PlayStation VR launch. It wasn't like, oh, here's Call of Duty, here is your Assassin's Creed game, it was nothing like that. It was like, oh, here's Headmaster, here's Super Hypercube, here's a bunch of games you probably haven't heard of. But it was really special. It was a very cool launch. But it was also clearly not something, and this kind of goes with PlayStation VR as a whole over the last 3 years. Not something that was aimed at AAA developers. I've been saying for a little while now that when PlayStation 5 launches holiday 2020, this is going to be a secondary launch for PlayStation VR. This is going to be there's going to be all these developers. We already know that, like, Reggie's working on Steampunk, right, for PlayStation 5. So hopefully a launch title. And so there has to be a whole slew of different PSVR developers that have said, you know what, we want to make this game the best we can, we're going to utilize the power of the PlayStation 5 to make that happen. We already know that PlayStation VR is going to be compatible with PlayStation 5. The current headset we have, you're going to be able to use it, right? And I've said over and over that it's going to, we're going to be running things at the highest possible resolution that are super sampled with texture quality that we've never actually seen before on the current PlayStation VR headset. It's going to be amazing. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised. You can throw numbers at me left and right and say, well, it doesn't make any. No, it makes perfect sense because you haven't seen it yet. I promise you, it's going to look beautiful. You're going to be shocked at what your current PlayStation VR headset can do. So this is our secondary launch for PlayStation VR. I'm saying I guarantee it, but I'm basically predicting that when PlayStation VR 5 launches, there's going to be like 20 more PSVR titles all right there at launch for PlayStation 5, playable on your current PSVR headset. So we wanted to speculate a little bit about what those games might be, why they're PlayStation 5 VR launch titles, why we didn't get them now, the whole spectrum of conversation that kind of revolves around this. I've already been talking too long. AJ, do you want to kick it off with any predictions, or do you want me to go
would.
First? All right.
We can go back and forth on this. And Katz, feel free to give your predictions in the chat as well. Be happy to see them. So I'm going to kick things off with going back to this Gamatsu interview. He was talking about the features, and he says 3D audio and the haptic feedback support of the controller are also things that, when you try them, you will be surprised at how big of a change they are. Even just playing the racing game Gran Turismo Sport with a PlayStation 5 controller is a completely different experience. While it runs well with the previous controller, there's no going back after you experience the detailed road surface via haptic control and play using the adaptive triggers. Brian, my first prediction is that Gran Turismo Sport is going to have some kind of update, some kind of remaster with additional tracks, additional levels, additional cars, and it's going to have full VR support, nice. Multiplayer, campaign, all the above. And they're going to have the new haptic feedback with the controllers for those that don't have a wheel.
Okay, so in your vision of this future, which I love, by the way, how this is what I'm talking about. This is
Gran Turismo, baby. Oh, right. What a good franchise.
I've played Gran Turismo in VR, and again, I've definitely gone to bat for Drive Club over Gran Turismo because of the full grid of racers, and that's what's most important to me. Not the graphical fidelity, not this or that, whatever. Right? I want to race against a full grid of racers. In your vision of this amazing future, is this a brand new game? Is this a paid piece of DLC to upgrade your current thing for PlayStation 5? Is this a free upgrade for current owners of Gran Turismo Sport? How do you envision this playing out?
I originally thought it was going to be a brand new Gran Turismo 7. Okay. That is honestly what I would prefer. just because it's something new and it's like, oh, the next Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
That being said, I wouldn't mind having this Gran Turismo being completely revamped for PS5 with these new features and having full VR support. And then like having some additional tracks, additional modes, something like that. They've talked about how they want the transition from PS4 that has 100 million headsets, mind you. I'm sorry, not 100 million headsets, 100 million PS4s.
Right.
But that they want to make this transition as seamless as possible. So I imagine there's going to be some new features for the PS5. Maybe, I don't know if it's new tracks, new something, but as much as I would prefer a new Gran Turismo, I think they may just revamp this one with full VR support, which the director actually of Gran Turismo, was it Polyphony?
Yep.
He had said that they did run into some performance issues with the PS4. So we'll see if the PS5 will have full VR support and be cross-compatible with flat screen gamers on the PS4.
Yeah,
for Gran Turismo Sport.
I think there's some really poor messaging going on over at Polyphony when they obviously
they screwed the pooch big time with their announcement because they said everything was going to be there at launch, and I had no idea. And all I see is pissed off people everywhere. People have kind of chilled out about it, but I saw for a while that people were very pissed about it.
Right. I think they've been trying to make amends since launching the game because they keep adding more VR content, but they can't seem to up the player base or the player the number of allowed players in any particular race. So I think that they need to, as a goodwill gesture, and obviously being a wholly Sony-owned company, they need to make amends for this mistake, and I don't want to give them too hard of a time. Obviously, if they could have put the entire game into VR, they would have, but they need to make amends. And I think by saying, hey, here's your free PS5 patch for this game, I think that's going to go a long way to get everybody on board, and to make Gran Turismo 7 or Gran Turismo Sport, whatever it's going to be called, to make it like the definitive racing game of next generation. They can add on to that all generation long without actually having to come out with a new game.
Yeah. So that's my first prediction. I like I said, I would prefer Gran Turismo 7, but I will totally take GT Sport remastered, something revamped for VR. What's your first prediction, Brian?
So my first prediction is, man, something I've been going on and on and on and on about for about 3 years now, right? There's been so many breaking news reports. I've covered this game fucking ad nauseum. This is Fallout 4. Okay. So Fallout 4. So we set a precedent, right? We got Skyrim VR. We
never kill the dream,
right? But
never let the dream die.
Bethesda was like, hey, just to show you that we can do, big, epic, really in-depth games with tons and tons of mechanics going on behind the scenes. We're gonna give you Skyrim in VR. Look what we can do. Here's your big fucking open world game, guys. And then what did we see? We saw actual retail listings for Fallout 4 with release dates on different sites. It got leaked on at least 3 different sites. Target, JB Hi-Fi, right? Like all these different sites actually listed at the same time Fallout 4, like as if it was coming. And there was leak after leak after leak as this was actually going to happen. It was already out on PC. So it's not like the game didn't exist in some form or another. What I think happened, what I'm going to say happened, is that they got pretty fucking far into development on PlayStation 4 with Fallout 4, and it just didn't come together. It just wasn't coming together as seamlessly as Skyrim, most likely because it was a PlayStation 4 game. It was a current gen game, and they didn't have these assets to go back to like they did like with Skyrim being a 360 and PS3 game. And I think they just kind of overexerted themselves and said, you know what, we don't want to put this out and have it be half-baked and have it be half-assed. But there had to have been some progress made somewhere. I'm going to assume that this is going to be a PlayStation 5 VR launch title. That's it. That is all. That is a ton of fucking speculation, but backed up with a ton of other speculation.
Well, I think there's no denying that you really want Fallout 4.
Did you play Fallout 4?
Not a lot of it, no.
So
I haven't played actually a lot of the Fallout games, to be honest with you.
Oh man,
And I know a lot of people would like to. I know a lot of people would like that. I don't know. I don't see. Is that it's owned by Bethesda, isn't it? I don't know. Larry Langer, before I could even finish, says, "Let's face it, Bethesda's a bunch of fuck ups." Bethesda's not doing so well right now with some of their games. I don't see them doing something like this. Maybe I don't know. If it was another developer, maybe. But Bethesda's kind of in like a downward spiral right now. All they really have that I can think of is like maybe Elder Scrolls. It's like their last chance of hope.
I mean, they've got. I mean, okay, everybody gets doom and gloom on developers when they have like a little bit of a rough streak. But like, what's their next big open world game that they announced? Starfield, is that what it's called? So like when that game comes out, it's going to kill, and everyone's going to go, "Oh my god, Bethesda's amazing!" Right? When the next Elder Scrolls game comes out, everyone's going, "Oh my god, Bethesda's amazing!" Right?
Elder Scrolls will be cool. Next Elder Scrolls should be cool.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Bethesda, and I will tell you that Fallout 76 wasn't like had like a fucking terrible launch, but that game's been getting better, and people who keep going back to it and keep playing it have said, "Man, Fallout 76 is way more fun than it used to be," and to their credit, they've stuck with games that didn't really, that they very well probably should have given up on. But it's Bethesda, man. They've got a good reputation, and I'm sure they want to keep it that way.
All right. So, I mean, I hope so too, man. I would actually, I don't want to say.
Plus,
I don't want to give
in
away.
Boston, man. It's really
cool.
Cool.
Man, Duran fan says, "GC, what about Doom Eternal?" That should be big, man. I would love to have Doom Eternal. I like the revamped 2016 Doom series.
Yeah.
Music Resources Gaming. Hello.
See, it's not all doom and gloom. The Doom reboot was great. Doom VFR was great.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
There's been a lot of good Bethesda stuff, and Skyrim VR was amazing.
Doom has rarely failed me. Rarely. I think twice in like the span of 30 years has Doom failed me, and that's with like 15 games. All right. So for my second one, I don't want to say what I was going to say because it may be one of your picks. So
I don't care.
Unless you have another one like that, but so my second pick is for a sequel to a game that launched as a PlayStation exclusive, and I like to consider this character of this game the very first mascot that PSVR had, and that's going to be Moss Book 2. That's something that we know they've been working on, and instead we got DLC for Moss Book 1, which was great, and looked the graphical fidelity of that DLC, holy crap. But Moss and Quill, one of my favorite characters for sure of any game, like really connected with that game, much more than Ghost Giant. I know, no disrespect to Ghost Giant, I love that game, but this was like a really special game to me. And to be honest with you, if it was like 10, 12, 15 hour long adventure, like it would be in my top 3 probably for PlayStation VR games. But they've been teasing this sequel, and I'd like to think that Moss Book 2 is in the works. And they said that they've been experimenting with more of like a open world, open area kind of deal versus like a diorama, turn the page, which you said you were never a fan of.
It was fun for a while, and then I was like, I wish there was more to this.
Yeah, so it may have more of like I'm kind of exploration deal going with it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'd like to think that they are making Moss Book 2.
You think it's going to be a continuation of Quill's story, or you think they're going to do something a little bit different?
Well, I mean, the story, there's no really, the story kind of wrapped up where it was. I mean, her uncle was kidnapped, and then you saved her uncle. So they've got to have some new story, something a little more life-threatening to the the forest or something, and I'd like to see something where like the forest is like being burned down, or I don't know, which was kind of the thing with this. They did have like some other lore, some other characters and stuff, so we'd have to see. There's I don't really care, to be honest with you. I just want more moss. Like that's all I want. Amazing soundtrack, amazing gameplay, like the puzzles. The world was just like wow. And Quill is like one of the coolest characters ever. So I'd like to see this launch with the PS5, and then year later, whatever, how long it takes, 6 months later, it goes to other headsets too.
Right on. I am doing a little copying and pasting here. I'm bringing up the trailer that I want to show because I was not prepared. I changed my list at the last second, but now, I think I already have it.
Astrobot 2 Electric Boogaloo. I like that name.
Nice. Actually, yeah, that seems really fitting, to be honest with you. All right, so my next prediction is a game that I was really, really looking forward to on PlayStation 4, and then it kind of disappeared, and that is a nice little scary game called Visage. Now, Visage is made by Sad Square Studios. Sad Square launched a Kickstarter campaign for Visage, and by all accounts, kind of blew it out of the water. They did a really good job with their Kickstarter, and this game sort of picked up where like the Allison Road, PT, all those like canceled horror games left off, and it was trying to create something cool in VR. It is playable in non-VR as well. The downside here is that even though their Kickstarter campaign claimed that there would be a PlayStation VR version, they've sort of recanted on that since and been like, we'll see if it's possible. And I think that they kind of came to the conclusion after I talked to them a while back, like over a year ago, and they gave me the impression that it just wasn't possible. And so I think instead of quietly, it's still, as far as I know, it's still on their Kickstarter page. Like if you go to the FAQ, it still lists PSVR. The cool thing about listing PSVR as a platform that you're focusing on is that it doesn't specify the console you're using PSVR on, right? Because you could be like, no, we meant to say this was a PS5 PSVR title. That's a fucking huge loophole. When you realize, oh my god, we were not capable of making this game on current gen platforms, you can just say, it's a PlayStation 5 game. That's what we meant to say. Oh, sorry, we couldn't say that because PlayStation 5 was announced. Sony wouldn't let us do it. Lots and lots of bullshit. I think this is going to be a PS5 launch title. And look at this fucking trailer. Holy shit, this is everything I want in a psychological horror game. It looks creepy as hell. And as far as I know, I could be wrong. I'm going to do a quick search real quick here. As far as I know, I think this might still be in early access. Let's see here. It is $25 on Steam in early access, so the price will probably go up a little bit. And so if it's still in early access, then that means they're probably still adding stuff. Their Kickstarter campaign listed all of these things that they want to add. The more money you give us, the more stuff we're going to add. They were talking about outside of this house, they could actually add a whole town, like this little like mini open world to give just to add so much more gameplay and so much more stuff to do. So by the time PS5 rolls around, I'm sure this game will probably be out of early access. It'll probably be more of a complete title. And with the power of the PlayStation 5, they're going to have a way easier time porting it over to PSVR. That's my guess, and that's all the reasons I think it's a good one. I really want to play this game. Like a lot.
All right. Fair enough. You think that could even come before PS5 or no?
I think at this point they have been so quiet about PlayStation VR support that this is their only option. Is that they can only backpedal so much. But by putting it on PS5 is their only option to honor their Kickstarter agreements.
All right. Just for Giants asked if we're sober. Yes, we are both sober. I know, shocking.
Boring.
I do look like I'm high all the time. Well, he says, "Hi, you guys are pretty funny for sober." I love it.
Thanks.
We get high on life, man, and drugs.
I woke up for this. Brian looks like he wants to punch AJ. What? I want to hug AJ. I want to hug all of you in the creepiest way possible.
You need to shower first.
That's why I want to hug them. I want to share the stench.
All right, I'm gonna focus more on like the hype train games. I don't know. This is kind of a bad prediction.
It's a great prediction. I don't even know what it is, but I just want to punch you in the face because of it.
But I'm going to have to say one of the best experiences I ever had on PSVR was by a little company called Bandai Namco, out of all things. And it uses this device right here. This is a HOTUS, and I would like to see Ace Combat 8 or Ace Combat VR as a launch title, even if it's like its own standalone thing. Ace Combat, baby, bring it to me. That, honestly, in all honesty, if Ace Combat 7 was the full game in VR or was a full VR game, it would be my favorite PSVR game, hands down, not even close. The reason I love VR is because I get to do things like fly a fighter jet. I get to do things like that, or go to space, or stuff like that. I don't want to play VR to do things that I can kind of just do normally. Like I don't know. I want to have the most insane experiences that I possibly can, and Ace Combat would be one of those experiences. I freaking love that game so much. I'm gonna play it again really soon, actually.
Yeah, the three missions that you're given in Ace Combat 7 were enough to make it a contender, at least for our top 20 list. I still think that it probably deserves to be on there more than a couple of our 15 through 20 titles. But man, this is such an incredible experience that the fact that we didn't get more of it is really depressing. Yeah, man, it would be an amazing launch title. and honestly, like I think the smart move for them would be to just take Ace Combat 7. We don't need the next Ace Combat. We just need more of this already existing game in VR.
Well, Ace Combat, the VR mode is a little bit different. It's more like Ace Combat 1 and maybe like Ace Combat 3. It's really similar to Ace Combat 3.
Which one's Electrosphere?
That's for
PS2, right?
Yeah, that was or was that 3? Fuck, man, now you got me confused. I don't know, but that was a really good one. SB says, "What about Armored Core? A new one is coming. Seems a good fit. I would love Armored Core, despite what Brian says."
Listen, Armored Core is boring, right? No. But a good mech game would be amazing.
Also, that game cat in the chat meow says, "If I was taking a shot every."
Wait, I missed the entire second half of that. If I was taking a shot, what?
He says, if I was taking a shot every time AJ says it's my favorite game of all time, I would be out of booze. It's probably true. I just want to emphasize how much I love and adore some of these games. And yes, I play a lot of games. So there's a lot of games and experiences that are like my favorite of all time. Because I play a shit ton, way too much. I have a video game addiction. But
can we get Steel Battalion in VR? Remember the original Xbox game with like the $200 controller? I was like, how amazing would that be? You don't need the controller; you just need your Move controllers and just hit all the different buttons virtually, grab the sticks virtually. Man, you could have that $200 game in VR. It'd be amazing. Steel Battalion, not that Armored Core isn't great, but Steel Battalion is great. All right.
But yeah. Kaizen says, yeah, I'm nervous buying only 3 missions, but I'll catch it eventually. That's why it's not on our top 20 list, is because I don't want to tell people to pay $60 for it. I actually did pay $60 for it. But I don't want to tell people to do that. But I want to figure out any other way I can to get that game into their hands, because you need to play Ace Combat 7 in VR.
Yeah. Just wait for a sale.
Badly.
Sales are great, man. And and it has gone on sale, right? Like, what's the cheapest that game's been?
I think it's been like $25-$30.
Yeah. And that's totally worth it, man. You got like 10 hours out of it, right?
Yes. And I plan to play it more, like I was just saying. I'm totally planning to play it more. So want to revisit that soon. Nice.
Durant Ben and I, like, we're connected here. He's like, Brian, you thought of Steel Battalion right when I did.
Getting questions about, do we think Boneworks will come to PSVR?
Why not? But again, like, these are I really think that things that are not announced yet for PlayStation VR could very well be PS5 launch titles or early PS5 VR launch titles. You know, somebody here mentioned Alex, right? Half-Life Alex. And although it hasn't been announced, like, you know, Valve has definitely said, hey, we want to bring this to, you know, other VR headsets. And I think PlayStation 5 would be a perfect match for that. I think it'd be great. So this is like, we're about to enter like this new generation of VR where AAA developers are going to start taking notice, and it's going to be easier for them. The number of times we hear from developers how difficult it is to get a game on PlayStation VR running well is shocking, right? But it shouldn't be that shocking to hear, because, man, like when you hear people like, you know, struggling to get their game running at 60 frames a second, most PS4 games run at 30 frames a second, right? And so when suddenly you have to take a game that's running at 30 frames a second and then create two images, right? Render two images simultaneously that are running at twice that frame rate. You're asking the processors to do over 4 times the work. Duh. Man, of course it's fucking hard to get a game running on PlayStation VR. This is some tough shit. And so the fact that we've gotten any of the games that we already have has been kind of monumental. So, you know, PS4 hardware is old. It is outdated. Even the Pro is outdated at this point. When PlayStation 5 launches, it's going to be so much easier to get these games on there. And it's not like Dave Station had said before, it's not going to be as easy as flipping a switch, but it's certainly not going to take an entire team a whole year to do it anymore. It's going to take a few people like a month, right? It's going to be so much easier to get PS5 VR versions of games going. So
I think so too, yeah.
So AAA studios are going to start paying attention, because they're going to go, oh, we can sell like 5 million more copies of this game if we flip that switch. And
that was a big problem with PS3. The architecture was so complex that the dev cycle for games, like I don't remember what they said, but it was like 4 years to get like a game developed on PS3. And so that caused a lot of developers to not be able to make games and stuff. That was a huge initiative with the PS4 where they said, well, now we've got this and this kind of just palette for you, and have at it. And you've got your hardware, your RAM, and you've got your space and everything. And, you know, indie developers, that's why there was such a big push with indie developers, because there was such a backlash about how hard it was to develop some games. That's why a lot of games that were on PS3 got pushed to PS4 instead. So after Ace Combat 7, you have another. It's your turn now. God, what is your next prediction?
Okay, can I just do one that's like totally out of left field, that like doesn't make any sense whatsoever?
I'm pretty sure the last two you did were totally out of left.
Listen, I came to these things with like fucking facts and like research, and
he's like Marbles too.
Oh, you just ruined it. You took mine.
Oh man, pick the most obscure. I mean, it's why I love you, because you're like the deep cut PSVR master. but I don't know. I don't know. Oh yeah, please hit me with your best shot.
This one, there is no research behind. There is nothing but false hope. Okay. And so when I tell you that I want, ready? Until Dawn, Rush of Blood 2. I want Supermassive to return to their greatness. I want these guys to go, hey, you know what? I want Sony to pay them and say, okay, you guys really fucked up with Bravo Team, and the Impatient was like, at best. But man, like, universally, Rush of Blood is universally loved. And all we've been asking from them is DLC or a sequel, right? It's already this amazing framework. And I got to be honest with you, as much as I'm sure everybody in the chat would say, we just want more levels. We just want more roller coaster rides. We just want more this. How amazing would it be? And bear with me. Okay, everyone get on board. This is going to be fun. Here is your open world amusement park.
Yeah, that would be cool. They'd have to do something different.
Right?
You couldn't do it. You could not do Rush the same exact way. That'd be pointless. It'd be like the one trick pony, like you guys say about some other games, but
yeah. But to be able to walk into an open world amusement park, just, you know, and to just be like,
and it'd be like scary as hell.
Walk through haunted houses, you know, go on different rides, do different things, have missions in the park itself. I mean, just like unlimited possibilities, right? It kind of reminds me of, did you ever play Illbleed on Dreamcast? For some reason, I can't stop thinking about that, because that's kind of what this I don't want it to play like that, but it
I
was.
played Carnival.
Oh, there you go. Right, but like amusement, like dark, scary, demonic, possessed, supernatural amusement parks are perfect for horror games, and to have one that's in the Rush of Blood universe would be amazing. And I think that Supermassive Games could get their VR reputation back if they did this successfully. Also, give us 10 more roller coaster levels as well, just for the fuck of it, man. Because that is, we do want that, even though we want you to branch out and try other things.
Yeah, I don't think Supermassive is in a good place right now.
Chairface says Rush of Blood 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Nice. I mean, everybody in the chat seems to agree. Much they would to see that. I agree with you too. I would like to just see any horror game, like new, really amazing looking horror game or fun game. I'll tell you what I had my fingers crossed for. More realistically, I think. I'm not saying that couldn't happen. I just don't think it's very likely. I want that House of the Dead game to get VR support.
Yeah,
we already know it's coming to PSVR. I'm sorry, PS4. And there's apparently going to be like Move controller support or something. It's like you're halfway there. Like just put the headset on and do that. Man, if that House of the Dead game gets VR support, or the Scarlet Dawn House of the Dead arcade VR game gets ported over, oh my gosh, like I would die for those. The only thing closest to Time Crisis is Crisis for 2 as well. It's coming out, but
what do you say? One more prediction each?
Yes.
Wait, I forgot how this works. No. I started, right? No, you started.
I started.
Okay, so one more each. That works.
Yeah.
All right.
So which one of these, little pig, which one do I choose? I'm going to go with, I guess, the safest one, which isn't even really that safe. Screw it. I'm going to do what I want.
All right.
Impulse Gear has stated that they are working on the next gen big AAA whatever shebang. And Farpoint, Void Cat, the game citizen, where you at, dog? Farpoint is one of my favorite games of all time. Stop drinking that game cat in the chat. Farpoint is absolutely amazing, and I want to see. They went from a 10-person team and to, I think they expanded a little bit. They were hiring years ago. So I would absolutely love to see Impulse Gear come out with Farpoint 2 as a PlayStation 5 launch title.
With jetpacks?
And it's gonna have not with jetpacks, but with PvP, with 4v4, 5v5 PvP, with the co-op again, all that stuff. Also, Polish Paul says, "Dude, hear me out on House of the Dead. It's Polish studio that's making the port, and they released tons of VR games in the past. There is hope. There's always hope." Yeah, I really hope that happens, actually. And I think the even better is that everybody, when they said that they're bringing PS4 House of the Dead back to PS4, everybody was like, VR, 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 crazy. So they have heard it, that's for sure.
Yeah, Sonic the Game Cat says, what about Panzer Dragoon VR, AJ?
I'd be down with that.
Yeah, dude, I fucking love Panzer Dragoon.
Yeah, it's good shit.
Yeah. They get that remake coming too, or it's already out, or whatever. I don't
know. But yeah, Farpoint 2, man, I want to see this continue. I would really like to see the story continue. Like they kind of left you on a cliffhanger kind of deal, or it was just really really trippy ending to it. And I would like to see that game continue with the story, evolve the characters and stuff.
What would you think if Impulse Gear said, "We're going to make you another game, AJ, but it's going to be set on Earth in a forest"? What if it's not sci-fi? What if it's not in the same universe? Sirens on my end, of course.
It doesn't necessarily have to be another Farpoint, but
my question is do you trust Impulse Gear with whatever decision that they make, or are you like, guys, you need to make Farpoint 2?
I mean, what was the question?
The question is do you trust Impulse Gear to make an amazing game even if it's not in the Farpoint universe?
Oh yeah,
or if it's in a different genre altogether.
Different genre. I mean, I trust, but I wouldn't want that from them unless they could prove me wrong. But I would love, like, I wouldn't mind just another story-driven shooter that uses the aim controller or something like that. You know, that's the dream.
That's the dream.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll see what your other prediction was, but yeah, that's just something I would hope for. Farpoint's amazing.
Let's see here. Let me see what download we want to copy.
I kind of feel like they might do something else. Point, which I honestly wouldn't be too bad with it. Too mad about it, but I would just love like kind of like how Lost Planet and Lost Planet 2 came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I loved those games and they never got enough attention. I would love another Farpoint 2 where even it's just completely different scenario, but just another sci-fi shooter would be really, really awesome.
Nice. Okay. My final prediction.
Before you do that,
yes.
John Lemmy says, "Did you guys ever suffer from motion sickness with Borderlands 2?" No, absolutely not. I've never. I don't get motion sickness from anything though.
I never got it from Borderlands 2. However, I am human, unlike AJ, and when I'm sick, I can get some motion sickness, and when certain games are not seemingly optimized well, I will get a tinge of it as well. I think Golem was the last one to like really hit me. Luckily, they fixed that, and now when I play Golem, it's totally fine. So, yeah, shit happens, man. Shit happens. Also, chew some ginger, and turn on a fan, and play in short bursts.
Ooh, McConnor says to the top 2.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
Why did all these rhyme?
I don't know.
Justin Gribble says Lost Planet 1 and 2 was my jiggity jam. Dude.
Because everything rhymes with 2. Oh, but because we're putting 2 at the end of all these titles.
Well, no.
Astrobot 2, Electric Boogaloo. It's rhyming with 2.
Oh, is it just 2? Okay.
Yeah. That's why. It just turns out that Electric Boogaloo rhymes with everything.
We just hit the 2-hour mark. We know we start deteriorating at the very rapidly.
Time's sticking. All right, so
what's my
final prediction? Is this something? When we were doing our E3 predictions, when we were doing our Paris Games Week predictions, every time we do predictions, this game always was on my list. And it always seemed to make sense. Here, let me just...
You have one that makes sense now? Oh my God, I'm intrigued.
You know what? I love being on the right side of history all the time. because this we can go back and reference. When all these games come out, we're going to go, Brian was fucking right. Also, I've always been on the wrong side of history. Brian's always been wrong. Don't take any of these predictions with less than 20 grains of salt. Because, I'm always wrong. But I love to predict because I have more fun with my predictions. Okay. Check it out, right?
Check.
Here we go.
Check it out.
That trailer's playing now. BioShock.
Yes, there it was. I almost said that earlier. Say it just in case you did.
This is a game that I was late to the party on. I was a PS3 owner, not a 360. And so it came to PS3 later than 360. When we finally got that port, I don't even think I played it right away. When I finally get around to it, I absolutely loved this game. And, what happened to, who is it, Irrational? Bad things have happened to the studio. They kind of they shrunk down after, it took Infinite, like BioShock Infinite, way too long to come out, cost them way too much money. The team shrunk after that. But 2K still owns the rights to this game. And so the possibility of this game getting a VR remake is totally possible. 2K is doing great. On top of that, we got word that a new BioShock game is actually coming out, that it's actually been in the works for years. And so it's still years out, unfortunately. So I think, unfortunately, the BioShock name, as everything does, loses cachet by the day, right? You can't wait 3 more years and just put out a BioShock game and have everyone go, sweet, we've been waiting for this, right? Not everything is Half-Life. not everything can stay in the consumer mindset that long. Sirens on my end. There better be a fucking fire. I don't know what's happening out here today. And so, like, I think to keep the brand alive, you need to keep remastering this thing and keep putting it out for new consoles. When we get the BioShock collection on PS4 and with the updated HD remasters and stuff, like, I understood that. That's the way to keep the brand alive, to get new players playing your game and to get new players excited for possible future games in the franchise. Now, to be able to say, hey, while you're waiting for the new BioShock game, here's BioShock. Here's again BioShock remastered on PlayStation 5 in 4K, 60 frames a second, everything, this and that, whatever, right? And then to say, and also, there's a VR mode. This is like what we need. And so, and I think BioShock is prime for VR. It is the perfect game for VR because, it's not really a first-person shooter. It's more of a first-person exploration game with some awesome action moments. Fighting those big daddies in VR, those things were already really daunting on a flat screen. Like the
Right.
sense of scale was already great on a flat screen. And to face them in VR and to see like the true scale, the true size of these things, as you're like every single big daddy boss fight was epic. It was so cool learning how, each one moved and what you needed to do to take them down. And to be able to do that in VR, but with also this huge fear of this massive thing trying to take you down. I mean, like, I don't think there could be a more perfect VR game.
I agree. Of all the BioShocks, the first one is
By
my
far.
favorite that I played.
By far.
And I would love to. I never got to finish it either, so I would love to go back and finish it. So, yeah, that's a great pick, actually. So that wraps it up for our predictions as well as the news. Before we go, though, before I get Brian to wrap this up, there's a couple comments I want to address. Ezra, the game cat, said Spider-Man VR full game. I think this is something that Insomniac will probably do at some point. I just don't know if it's a launch title. Lots of people saying to the top two. We know that those guys have been working on a new engine, is the last time I talked to them. They've gone a little silent, though, so I haven't talked to Armate and those guys. But to the top two, something would be amazing. Unknown Gamer says Sports Champions 3.
Or Sports Champions 1 and 2, man. Like, those games
I would
so
love
good.
to see that.
Yeah.
Just Incredible VR says Ubisoft is currently splitting up into like two different divisions or something for two different VR games. So it could be a potential Splinter Cell or Assassin's Creed VR game.
That new Watch Dogs game is rumored to have VR
Watch
support.
Dogs, yeah, Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah.
Also Dreams could be a potential, if not before the PS5, it could be a potential PS5 PSVR launch title.
Yeah.
With the VR support. But yeah, man. That is about it.
Lou the Game Cat. Alien Isolation would be fantastic. I totally agree.
I disagree.
What?
I will die if I try to play that. If there's no game that can scare me as much.
Yeah, no.
I would have. Oh, that'd be a rough one.
Man,
it'd probably be fun for everyone else to watch, but I'd fucking suffer.
I definitely complained about the length of that game. Like it like lost its appeal about halfway through. But I think in VR that's a totally different experience. You just want things to keep going, and you just want more of it. So I think all of my complaints about Alien Isolation would quickly fall by the wayside if it got VR support. And I think that is definitely even more likely than BioShock or anything else. That is very, very likely could be a PlayStation 5 launch title.
We also know that Sony London Studio is working on their next one, which is rumored to be a Dawn game. We're just going to have to stay tuned and wait for this official announcement of PlayStation 5. Should be happening in February, guys. I can't wait. This is so much fun having this speculation, though, up until then. And, man, I appreciate you guys.
That's it, just you guys?
Huge Chrome Peach says, System Shock, I love you. I love System Shock too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was trying to switch to the Horizon trailers to send this off with. All right, guys, we definitely got to call this quits before it gets out of control. Before we spend way too much time here. We guys have. I know AJ's got some new reviews up on his channel. Hold on, we got a donation. Vinny, the Ginny, Game Cat, with $2 donation. Cheers, gentlemen. Well, cheers back to you, sir. Very much appreciated. AJ's got some new reviews up on his channel. He covered LA Noire and he covered Eclipse. So if you guys want to check out his thoughts on those, then definitely go to PSVR Underground, subscribe, and check out his reviews. I've actually got both of those reviews in the works as well. I'm recovering from the flu, which, I mean, shockingly, I've had since before the new year. Holy crap, man. Like, it put me out for literally 10 days. It's been a long time since I was down for that long. So I'm going to have a bunch of new content up soon. Sorry for all the delays. Man, I'm so fucking excited for 2020, AJ. This is going to be amazing. The year is kicking off to a great start. And I think by the end of January, by the end of February, we're going to know so much more about what to expect.
Oh, man. We got Iron Man coming up soon, Shadow Legend. And that's just what we know about. And then we get the announcement of have some more too. Holy moly.
Holy moly. Holy moly. Alrighty, let's get this show on the road. Thank you very much, AJ, for hanging out with me. Dave, if you're watching at home, I hope you feel better soon. Hopefully we'll get you back here next week. Also, thank you very much for all the cats who donated. Thank you all the cats who hung out in the chat. Thank you all the cats who are the silent but deadly, who just sit and watch. Trust me, before I did this YouTube thing, I never commented on anything. I watched everything from all my favorite channels, but I was very silent. I never commented on anything. So I know you guys are out there. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. That's it. We will see you guys next week.
Hell yeah. Paper Wings the Game Cat. You still didn't tell me if you're excited to play Paper Beast. Kaizen Peace SB London studio game is also Manchester game, so I guess Horizon has to be in the works for a long time. Joystick Guru, thank you so much, man. It doesn't matter if you're late, just as you're here. To everybody watching later as well, thank you so much. Prophet 52, PSVR Brazil, you got cold yogurt. Polish Paul, thanks for hanging out, man. Durant Fan VR, thank you so much. Sonic the Game Cat, Hack the Game Cat, it's lit, y'all. Secrets of Guyson, fist bump to you. Gamer 412016, Brenner. What's up, Brenner? If I had money, I'd donate, but yeah, no problem. If you don't have money, don't donate. Yeah. Just your presence and you watching is plenty enough support.
We would do this without the donations, we promise you.
But Nick Mulo really needs to donate. That dude's got money. We know he's got money.
Nick Mulo's got cold yogurt.
What's up, Nick Mulo? Thank you, buddy. Delirium Drew. I'm going to be posting that Beat Saber Ghost Notes run here pretty soon, I think. I just got to make it look good. Got SS Ring. Lou the Game Cat. Huge Chrome Peach. Hugh Guyver, Matt Guyver's cousin himself. Bob Zarkoff, the Underground Dave Station Game Cat. Good night. God damn it. God, good show. Thank you. Just incredible. Diz the Game Cat. Chair Face. Sean Yarbrough. Hard to get. You, Mike Ferris.
Are we done?
Marceloy. TY Queen.
Can we be done now?
Andrew C.
How about now?
Meow. Love you guys.